Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the transit Mars in Cancer. Well, first thing I'll look at when Mars transits Cancer, of course, it's making its transition from Mars in Gemini into Cancer. And Mars in Gemini was more about a lot of restlessness and a lot of energy going into a lot of variety, people being more versatile, wanting to diversify, and not a lot of persistence in actions. And really, when you hit Mars transits Cancer, it's a little bit more tenacious. It's similar to Taurus, but I think there's a more of a clinging quality to it. And Cancer, Mars is in its detriment in Cancer, and really, it's when Mars transits Cancer, people instead of collectively, they're not generally expressing the anger, really letting it out as much as in a lot of other transits. It's really more about brooding, pouting, suppressing anger, and then letting it sometimes blow up and let it explode emotionally. A lot of emotional, angry responses as a result. Now, Cancer, when Mars transits Cancer, it can be somewhat defensive, and it's not nearly as assertive or aggressive as when it is, say, in Aries in its dignity. Now, you look at Mars transiting Cancer. Well, another thing about this is that the energy and vitality may be diminished a little bit during this transit because it's not in its dignity. When Mars is in Aries, say, or Scorpio, of course, it works a lot better. The energy, Mars is at home in those two signs, and the energy is being expressed a little bit stronger, I believe, in those signs, of course, being in its dignity. But when you have Mars transiting Cancer, you could also have more contentious situations on the home front with family members during this time. Situations might be a little bit more acrimonious collectively with people in your family. This could be a period too where you might see an escalation in domestic violence collectively during this time. And what's interesting is that the next time Mars will traverse Cancer, it will be from June 4th, 2017 to July 20th, 2017. And during this time, in a lot of places in the United States and in the world, the weather is warm during this period, and you might see some short fuses because of the heat. People are during this transit, Mars and Cancer can be sensitive, and really they're more sensitive even, I think, to, like, say, having hot weather can really intensify, I think, maybe some emotional responses. And really, this is also a period, too, when Mars transits Cancer, that people might respond a little bit more in an angry manner, acrimonious manner, to ridicule and criticism, to derisive remarks, and even to perhaps unintentional slights during this time. I think it's also important to really be careful of things that are flammable at this time in the home, because Mars is connected with fire, and of course Cancer is the sign associated with the home. And I would think maybe Homeland Security, whether it's government or local Homeland Security places, could be a lot more active, have a lot more activity, and be a lot busier during the time when Mars transits in Cancer than on average. Another thing, too, is that you might really be more of a stronger family defender during this time. If in the past you really weren't maybe a strong family defender, this could be that transit where if you see you're a family member being ridiculed, being mocked, or not treated fairly, or someone's trying to bamboozle them, any reason where you feel you might have to defend a family member, this would be that time where you feel maybe stronger in doing so. Maybe there's a greater probability in doing so than usual. This could be a time too when people's actions are more predicated on their moods. Cancer is a sign that is temperamental, and during this transit, it's more about if you feel like doing something. If you feel an emotional rapport or connection with something or someone, you have a greater chance during this transit to actually do some action connected with this. Now, another thing too during this transit, if you are someone unattached, you might be attracted to someone that could be a potential or prospective sexual partner that might have motherly qualities or attributes. It could be someone that's very sympathetic, nurturing, has very strong emotions, somebody that really can be that's enamored with home life. You might be busier during this time around the home than usual, as Cancer is associated with the home. And it's interesting too that you have this transit, as I stated before. The next time Mars traverses Cancer will be between June 4th, 2017 and July 20th, 2017. And during this time, I know a lot of schools in the United States during this time, you'll have kids getting out of school, being out of school, or what have you. And some that may be graduating might be going to a new residence during this time, might be finding a new home at a college dorm, perhaps. So there's just a lot of it. This is a period often where there's a lot of activity connected with the home, and people could be going to a lot of their summer homes during this period as well. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the transit Mars in Cancer. And stay tuned next time where I'll be talking about the transit Mars in Leo. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.